And not every player even gets to keep their shaman up. It's been banned out a heck of a lot in this tournament.
Yeah, and this warrior as well going here. It's going to be the pirate warrior, like we briefly discussed before the series, from Turna and Meliador, just on this shaman here. So nothing too crazy from the shaman. Like I say, it's just going to be one sea giant. But this pirate warrior might just be too quick, depending on what this open looks like. And see Meliador thinking about keeping the devolve.
Yeah, I mean, that just destroys, it's a synergy killer, right? It's good against Paladin for the same reason. It doesn't necessarily take a huge amount of attack off the board, but it just gets rid of all that synergy, which can make things so much harder for the warrior. And this warrior hand is another one that needs to develop from this opening hand, because right now it's garbage.
Yeah, it is, definitely. The Maelstrom would be a huge pickup from Meliador, but the problem with devolve and keeping it is it stops the synergy, but it doesn't stop the actual pressure a lot of the time. You are spending 2 mana to devolve pirates into other minions, but the other minions don't die. You actually just change them, so there's nothing too crazy going out there. The Corsair being pulled for Meliador, though, is nice. That is going to pull patches and knock a charge off the weapon, so that's a pretty good draw.
It really is going to help a lot as long as it just keeps developing. We've also been a little bit downplaying Meliador. He has got several top 100 finishers, so he's new to the competitive scene, as you heard him saying, but he's not new to playing Hearthstone really well. We saw previously that can be a thing that changes when you come to the competitive scene, take you a while to settle down, but going 7-0 in that side event, that will have settled him down for the future.
Yeah, 100%. And also, you know, like you said, he's taken time out from his studies to actually try and compete at Hearthstone. And I think that's a great idea. If you actually want to give Hearthstone a real go and try and become potentially pro, then just take some time. Don't just say, this is my life now, fully commit and have no backup plan. But just saying, like, maybe I'll take a year. It's what I did with casting, actually. I was like, I'm going to give myself 12 months.
Is that the 12 months out now?
The 12 months was long gone. Somehow I was reasonably successful at it.
Good man.
But I was generally like, I'll give myself 12 months. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But at least I tried and focused on it.
Yeah.
And looks like that's what Meliador is going to be doing at the moment. And so far, it's looking pretty good for him.
Now, if he wants to be a streamer, top 8's not necessarily enough to be a huge head start. It's a nice start. If you want to be a streamer, winning an event like this is just like, I'm going to stream tomorrow.
Yeah.
All watch me tomorrow. Get that kickstart. If you're top 8, sure, it's nice. You will get viewers, and you should watch guys like this. These are guys that are really interesting to watch their life story develop.
Could be good, though, if he wants to stream in Italian.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I'll confess, I don't know the Italian-speaking streamers that well, but...
There is a very passionate scene in Italy for streaming. I know the arena scene is huge in Italy.
Yeah, well, there normally is, to be honest. Look at some of the, German-speaking, Russian-speaking. There's the Spanish-speaking community as well for, like those streamers that are streaming in their own language. Then they get a huge audience because, a lot of people in those countries want to listen to their native tongue as opposed to English. So Meliador could make that a bit of a plan. But first, he has to think about taking down Turna. The first opening turns, nothing too crazy. The Firefly getting cleaned up there. But now Turna has the Frothing Berserker, but there are answers in the form of those Jade Lightnings a couple of turns.
Yeah, this is the thing with playing Pirates against the Shaman. Like, quite a lot of decks have this problem against Pirates where they can slow you down, but then you just get all the charge and hit face. The Shaman not only has the 2 natural taunts, or the 3 natural taunts, depending if there's Stone Hills in here. I'll check that for you in a second. But you also have the Doppelgangster Evolve, and you have your Hero Power, all of which can generate more taunts. And they can stabilize and just stick one last taunt down on a really low health total and win the game from there.
Yeah, those discovers from Stonehills can be a pain, but drawing patches is also a pain. Small nod from Meliador there saying, yeah, especially because he could have played the Corsair last turn, got some value, only on a hook. Got the patches out for free. Now he's going to end up playing it. But the Corsair can be huge.
It takes 5 or 6 damage off the board.
If you snipe 1 Arcanite Reaper charge, 1 Fiery War Axe charge even, then that is extremely high value.
Choosing to play the patches now is an interesting decision. You often save that for Flame Tongue or for Bloodlust, but feeling the need to go wide, Pirates just cannot deal with these wide boards. It's going to defend against cards that we can see like South Sea Deckhand now. On the other side of that, though, you are potentially blowing out 3 or 5 damage later on, 3 or 4 damage later on.
Yeah, it's about getting to later on, though, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's got a good hand for later on.
Yeah, he can clear the board. Yeah, I actually like the full clear, believe it or not. Even though it's a lot of damage from Frothing, if you full clear, then there are just no singular cards or set of cards on 4 mana that actually blow out this board.
Yeah, Devolve's going to be a nuisance, a big nuisance, but because 2-drops aren't that good. There are 1 or 2 really, really good 2-drops, but in general, they're actually kind of mediocre.
I was wondering whether you could go face, but I think clearing's just better.
I mean, you're just playing, if he hasn't got Devolve, I just won the game. Yeah. Look at all that attack on board. And also, you're forcing this Devolve to hit. It still might leave you with, I'm going to go for 5 or 6 attack will still be on board after this. And he's got to do it unless he feels that Jade Lightning into a taunt saves him in time and keeps the Devolve back. But what are you saving it for?
It's rough. Because let's be honest, Turner's going to be doing stuff himself and he's going to go for Jade Lightning.
He feels that his health total's high enough that eating a whole bunch of 10 next turn gets him out of it.
Wow. It's not going to, though.
Well, he has Jade Lightning into Bloodsail Corsair next turn to get rid of the Afternight.
Turner has approximately 1,000 damage in hand. And I think that's what I was going to talk about as well. Like, Turner's hand is Arcanite Reaper. Then, well, now because of the draw, he can play the Heroic Strike next turn along with Raider. Then just go into Leroy. Or if he draws something else, he can go Leroy Heroic Strike on 7. So that's 10. That's 20 damage without the minions on board over 2 turns.
That's quite a lot.
3 turns.
It's not quite 1,000, but I understand that 20's near enough 1,000 in this situation.
20 damage is lethal, and lethal is an infinite amount of damage because you put them to 0, so it doesn't matter. It can be 1,000, it can be 20.
Pulled you up on this yesterday. You're using long words again. You've got to stop hanging with Sottle so much.
I wish I could. Unfortunately, I'm contractually obliged to cast with him fairly often.
Okay, so all this damage that Raven was talking about now going into the face. There is going to be a clear here for now, but then a whole lot of more damage comes down.
Yeah.
Thing from below, is it enough? Because then afterwards you have Evolve on something. There may be some routes to get more taunts.
Well, the snipe on the weapon is the most important thing here, especially Dreadcoster being the draw. So there is now 10 damage from hand next turn. Turner, I think, is just going to have to set up both of these pirates and hope it gets there. Still has plenty of time, though, let's be honest. There are still Corkrons, there are still more weapons.
Yes.
And currently, Turner is on 27 health, so he's not under a lot of pressure. There is no Doppelgangster in the hand for Meliador for a big counter push this turn.
Yet.
Yep. There we go.
All right.
Totem into thing, I guess. Clear the 3/3.
So do you Mana Tide for the long run, or do you just get those hero powers rolling to give you more chance of getting repeated taunt totems? Because they are a big deal if you get really close to dying.
I think Mana Tide fits so well this turn into Thing from Below.
It does.
I think you just play the Mana Tide. The more options you have, you can start getting weapons. You might draw another thing.
Flame
you draw
Tongue.
your Doppelgangsters and just you reverse kill them. You draw Bloodlust, just kill them. You know, that is going to dig you deeper into your deck, which gives you more options, because Meliador can't play the Outlast game unless he literally rolls Taunt Totem every single turn for the rest of the game.
But one way to do that is to roll the other 3.
That's going to take a long time, though.
It is, but it's just a thing that may be on his mind here to go that route. You don't roll the first one if you don't roll the others sometimes.
Sure.
If you get the other set up, there's no way that Turner's going to mess around killing the 1/1s, so you are going to get progressively more likely to roll the taunts.
Small Con Elite actually might be used to... It won't be used to trade the Heroic Strike going into the 5/5, the 2/3 going in as well. And then you can just Small Con face, put him to 10, and then there's just Leroy and you need 4 more damage. As long as there's no taunts.
As long as there's no taunts. For those, obviously, who can't see Raven right now, which is most people watching, apart from me, Raven's always really happy when he gets to talk about hitting people in the face with big minions.
It's just great. You just I don't like piling the pressure on opponents. It's fun.
I think you're a nasty person for that.
Thanks.
I like to torture them slowly by grinding out the game.
And I'm the nasty
Jade.
one. Yeah.
So I think you're evil.
I think chat would agree with me that the smoke is the place and the Jade Druid is in fact not. Yeah, this isn't, you know, Turner taking his time, which is fine to just think about exactly how this game is going to pan out. But putting your opponent to effectively full health is going to be nice. There aren't too many draws that get him there next turn combined with Leroy. There is a Heroic Strike again, but there is still just, you know, he's still got plenty of time. He's on 22.
And there's no Mortal Strike, so he wasn't thinking about hitting with Leroy now and just drawing into that Mortal Strike through taunt. That's not where he was going with that. He was just making sure that hitting for 6 wasn't going to be good.
Yeah, pretty big deal here, this Corcoran Link actually being cleared up. But also just the Sea Giant still not down. means that you know, there's not that counter swing available. Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing.
The Bloodlust also gives Meliador a clock. At least it gives him a chance. Hey, Turner's going to ignore my stuff for the large part here, and I am going to build a board that's wide with Bloodlust pretty quick. So Meliador does have a plan, and the Evolve could get him taunts as well, of course, now. It's big enough.
I actually... Oh, is he going to go for Leroy now? Huh, what does that do, though? Opens up Arcanite Reaper draw. That's all, though. I like upgrade face hero power.
How much damage does it put on the board if he goes face with Leroy?
There's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 17.
Okay, that's a lot.
With Bloodlust, with Bloodlust,
that's what I mean. It puts 2 on the board, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, how much damage does 2 1-1s put on the board? 2. But no, we were talking about Bloodlust, of course. But upgrade face, that opens up War Axe draw, opens up Heroic Strike draw still, opens up, I think that's more or less it.
Yeah.
Oh no, opens up Kor'kron. Kor'kron was live anyway. But he's just going to go for it. He's going to go all in. This does give the Arcanite Reaper as an additional
Patches
draw.
has gone. Sorry, just cut you there. Patches has gone. That'd be 4 more damage available.
Huh?
Just look at this Bloodlust. Oh my goodness. He's counting. I think he's one
Meliador's
short.
waving his finger around, going 3, 6.
I've got a clue now. I think Turner now knows that Meliador has Bloodlust in hand after that. So it's 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 15 is 23. He's 1 or 2 off.
2 off, I think.
Yeah. So if he still had Patches in hand, the game would be completely different. Looking, of course, but he would have lethal.
I think you actually just drop the Giant and trade and roll for a totem. Try and get taunt totem. Because the Giant makes up for all the damage you miss by not playing Bloodlust this turn. You just play Bloodlust next turn and get him. Like, Giant on its own is 11 damage with Lust. He misses the taunt totem again. This game is going to be coming down to what Turner is going to draw this turn. Bloodlust Flame Tongue.
And you evolve now for
live.
taunt, I think. He's going for maximum chance of taunt here as well. Taunt here will win in the game, most likely.
Taunt champ.
There's a lot of chances.
Missed him.
No,
go on.
Your turn.
And War Axe as well. Turner head in hands, or face in hands a little bit. He's just like, well, I guess I just lose.
Because he knows that Bloodlust is there, because he saw Meliador getting his fingers out and waving them around last turn. They're sat opposite each other.
I mean, he's just dead without Bloodlust, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so he knows he's dead because he can count to 11 better than I can.
He needed there to be no taunts. He did get the War Axe, which, with the 1 hit from the upgrade, got there anyway. Excuse me. He can still War Axe upgrade for 4, so it didn't matter too much. But that 1 taunt out of all those rolls, out of 6 total rolls, is going to get him there. Meliador, just a quick nod forward. He's like, yeah, okay, I got him. And Turner knows it.
Yep. Still 18 on board.
Wow. So close.
Just to be sure, why not? Just in case you counted wrong. Here's another 20.
You're being polite, giving your opponent a card since they don't have any.
Yeah.
Cho's on the board. Here's a Bloodlust friend.
Print is dead, Lord Walker Cho.
Yeah. It's Meliador taking the first game. That easily could have slipped out of his fingers. But he did get it in now. Eyes closed, shaking it off.
Yeah, I mean,
like Taylor.
We've got to say there's a really good chance, that was a swift one, to get those taunts from 7 minions.
6. The Giant doesn't evolve.
Giants always evolve.
No, Giants are the peak of, or the pinnacle of evolution, so they never need to evolve.
So why do they live in the sea? There's like murlocs and stuff in the sea. It's a dirty place.
Maybe they just like it. Just because you wouldn't like it, Linda, doesn't mean you have to put all your thoughts onto everyone else.
I feel the Giant's wrong.
Well, you argue with a giant.
Okay, the Giant's right. Good call.
There you go. Turner now going into game number 2. He is, of course, against the Shaman from Meliador. And Turner going to be on this Jade Druid. And again, this is not exactly a joyous matchup to play.
It really is not.
It's definitely. I don't think it's bad. But I think it does rely on the early removal combined with the Primordial Drake to feel confident. But really, the Doppelgangster Evolve, there's not a lot Jade Druid can do against that if it comes out to play. Meliador does have a Doppelgangster in hand.
Yeah, I mean, you like the Druid here, but I mean, sometimes what happens is you don't get enough removal, and Turna does have enough just with Wrath and Swipe, and your opponent puts you under pressure, then you clear it, or like you say, Doppelgangster Evolve on 6 just beats Druid. There's not much else that does, but that is, if you put on the pressure early, get rid of their removal, then you get that down.
The only way you can keep up with it is if you've had like early like Wild Growth, Jade Idol, Jade Blossom into, you know, Behemoth or Aya, and then you can be like, well, my Jades are actually almost big enough to just trade.
And this is why you need that early game as the Shaman to make sure they're removing stuff and they're not getting that Jade chain going. As you can see, there's not going to be much early game here from Meliador, and the Jade train is going to start leaving the station immediately.
Yeah, next turn will be a Jade. I imagine Coin Wild Growth is going to hit, means you can go into Jade Spirit or Swipe next turn. And Meliador can now play out the Corsair combined with a Flame Tongue to get that Patches live. But unfortunately, Patches having 3 attack, if you're not going face, doesn't do much because there is a 1-1 on the board anyway to clear it up.
Yeah, and there's also Swipe, so...
Oh, no. I wonder if you actually just put the Flame Tongue next to the Totem and then just trade. And then play the Corsair and just say, well, yeah, Patches hits for 1, but I have like 4 minions on board, so...
Might change his mind now he's got the taunt, but I feel he'll just...
Sure.
This is tough, because you need to get all that damage into the Druid, but... I think because of Swipe, that's okay. I mean, Swipe's not a big one here, but it might be later if you leave a 1-1 hanging around to get 1 damage into your totem.
Yeah, I think trading's fine there. And getting the, you know, the Flame Tongue does nothing, like I said, so the hero power actually just, you know, put 1 in the bank from the things from below. And also starts getting the taunts, the spell damage starts coming out, which means you're more and more likely to get whatever hero power is left. Now this Jade Claws, though.
The thing from Turner's side, though, when you get to start challenging the Shaman board with your minions and keeping your spells back, then you have this free reign to develop the Jades, and you start controlling the Jades, and your removal becomes a luxury. And when your removal is a luxury against a deck full of very small minions, then the Doppelgangster Evolve starts to leave the equation. But it is there. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
It is there. Jade Claws into Flame Tongue seems really good here, though. Could actually skip and just hero power again if he wants to trade the 1-2 into the 2-3, or just kill the 2-2 Jade with the claws and pass. Looks like he is going to. Meliador really prioritizing just pressing his totem button and waiting for Flame Tongue to get maximum multi-trade value here.
I mean, if it was his turn now, but unfortunately Time Walk isn't in Shaman, he's got 17 damage next turn just by pressing the button. So that's the sort of threats you can generate as Shaman. Turner, basically this is a hard turn and then it just goes IO and you start winning the game. You don't win the game, but you start getting in front. This is the turn that needs to set it up, though. How much does he need to remove from the board? Does he want to play that Jade Idol to set up IO even better? I think he does. 1 mana 3/3s seem good.
Yeah, you are afraid of Flame Tongue, though.
And then you start thinking, do I want to cycle my Wrath just to try and find maybe Jade Behemoth or something, which would be fantastic on turn 6. It also removes a minion from the board, which is fine. It's an awkward turn. There's a lot of fiddly choices here, and they're all okay, and none of them are great.
Yeah, maybe Hero Power Wrath into Jade Idol is the way forward here. That means you can kill the 1-1, the 0-2, you get a Jade Idol, you can Wrath down the 1-2.
And you've got quite a few good pickups from the Wrath. He's actually just going to get rid of something the old-fashioned way.
Let's draw a Golaka. Get the value as well, even though he pinged for 1, this is still worth way more. 3-4 on the board now. Can start challenging this Shaman board.
Rewarded for good ordering.
Yeah. That's why
doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it's so good.
Yeah.
That's just made a massive difference. If he messes that turn up, he's in a mediocre spot, an okay spot, but nothing great. But ordering that correctly, and now this board is just doing it without huge Jades. And next turn, the huge Jades are going to come.
Jade Lightning seems fine here, though. Oh, he's not going to go for it again. Can use the Flame Tongue at last to get some nice trades out here. Jade Lightning still could have got some work done, and you just trade and leave one of the other minions up.
Yeah, I wonder if his thinking is that Jade Lightning goes through Jade Behemoth later. If you need to get that last bit of damage through after your Bloodlust, after whatever, you're going to need a little bit of just collateral damage hanging around, and it might be relevant.
I just thought the Jade from the Jade Lightning is a better evolved target than the Flame Tongue.
Yeah.
Because you're almost certainly doppelgangster evolving next turn.
Well, I was going to just about to talk about that. You've just drawn the second evolve. Do you delay it one more turn to give yourself 2 chances at good rolls?
No, the second evolve sucks on doppelgangsters. And the only reason the second evolve is ever that good is to heal up the minions.
From the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Air quotations, heal up, as in change them into new minions. But once they've already done some work, I think the second, like, going doppelgangster evolve, a turn later is really bad, actually.
Sure. Let's see what he gets. Here we go. Oh, wow.
Okay, we can deal with that. Ken, pretty nice. Gadget Zan is a threat that has to be dealt with. The 5/5 rogue dude is fine. You know, 5/5, not bad.
And the llama bot.
And then the llama bot is going to be weird whether it gets killed off or not, because it's actually not a high priority target against shaman.
No, it's not.
Because it can actually pull out another doppelgangster, which is a problem, or just pull out like a firefly. Or
you can also pull out like Aya and actually not be a benefit, but you can mess up their plans. You can pull out the doppelgangster, pull out Aya, pull out those quite a few things it can do. I think Turna might well just leave it there.
We can see that it's going to get the best target in the whole deck to pull out.
Yeah.
Which is the thing from below.
Yeah, which is going to defend this board, and now Meliador, I think he'll play the Jade Lightning next to it. This Auctioneer is sitting around. I don't think Auctioneer is going to be sitting around, but, you know, there's enough spells in there to make that really awkward for Turna. This is interesting to me. The Shaman's got decent stuff going on, but the Druid has had such a fantastic first few turns. These Jades are already threatening.
Yeah, they're already pretty big. I think Meliador has to make something happen very quickly.
Gonna cycle this. Take it down with Feral Rage on the Auctioneer. Draws his Jade Behemoth, which is massive. Takes that down because why not? You don't need the face damage. You need giant Jade armies that stomp on cities. That's what you need. That's what he's got.
Mana Tide is going to help Meliador continue to draw a few resources and try and get back this board. This is a turning point for Turner because he doesn't have the Primordial Drake, excuse me, that he would really want to just drop on 8 if the board's there. So instead, his turn is actually quite mediocre. The Jade Behemoth is good. It creates a 6/6 and a 3/6. Yeah. But other than that, you know, there's nothing really to combine with Gadget Zan. What does Swipe do at this moment in time? Not a lot. So his turns are limited. If Meliador could just hang on for another turn or so and then get a couple more cards, he might be able to do something big with this evolve.
Yeah, he's going to have to, though, because there are very few dead draws for Turner. Even Innovate is not dead because those Auctioneers.
Yeah.
So pretty much anything he picks up turns it even further in his favour.
What was I saying about Drake?
Said it wasn't there.
Doesn't need it this turn, though.
No hurry. It doesn't do it. I mean, it does do a bit this turn. It doesn't do a whole lot. I think you just play the Behemoth. Encourage Meliador to go wider with his hero powers and with whatever junk might be in his hand, fireflies, etc. And just blow it all up.
Yeah.
The healing totem's a nuisance here.
This hand is still not great, though, because mainly for this turn I'm talking about.
Yeah, for this turn.
Turner has like a really weird turn. Like, you don't really want to just go 5/5 for 5/5. You could swipe hero power, but then that's all you can do this turn. So that really is a pain.
The healing totem is a big nuisance as well, because over 2 turns, what you would like to do, even on sort of, not this board, but boards like it, one thing would be thinking is just get the damage from the swipe and the primordial over 2 turns and just clear off all the 0/3s and do a whole bunch of damage to other stuff and set up your Auctioneers. But because that healing totem, I think we'll just see the Behemoth almost always here.
It's just steady, right? You got to stick 6 on the board.
The Drake does set up just killing off that same swipe move. If you do the Drake first, actually, get rid of the healing totem, swipe the lot away, and maybe even wait 1 turn, depending what happens, and just Auctioneer swipes a thing. And again, every turn, almost everything in his deck is good. Like, Nourish is good. I think the only card that's not good right now is Wild Growth, but even that's good on turn 10.
Yeah, it's getting there with Gadget Zans, right? Now just trade Jade Lightning seems good for Bane.
Yeah, he's been really reluctant to use that Jade Lightning, but it does look like the time's come. He needs the minion. He needs to get rid of this this thing, the Drake, Primordial Drake, that thing.
No healing totem. Jade's only at 2/2 as well.
Yeah, healing totem would have been very important there.
I think Meliador needs one more big push to try and get through. If he can't muster it, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he doesn't want to evolve because that Mana Tide's doing good work. He will evolve. I mean, he's going to try his hardest to get the doppelgangers, but he's going to have to evolve before that a lot of the time. Otherwise, he's just going to start getting overpowered by this. So the instinctive play is just Jade Spirit swipe, but you do want to hold on to that swipe if you possibly can.
Yeah, swipe's too good here, though. You kill 2 big totems with swipe. You play Jade Spirit to get a 7/7 on the board. Oh, no, 6/6 on the board, sorry. I'm okay with that.
Okay with that. I am indeed.
You kill 2 of the 3 health totems, clear the board, more or less, and then put a big boy down.
And then next turn, your worst case scenario is backing up a 7/7 guy with a taunt minion into a shaman deck that's running low on cards.
Yep.
Oh, that gives Meliador a trick condition. Like, you can't win this fair and square at this point without an evolve. So you can try and trick your opponent into, hey, double bloodlust you weren't expecting that. Turner's too good for that, but sometimes you just have to go for whatever you can.
I just think Turner's never going to let him have the board again.
Could well do that. There's just no point to hit in the face. Just one hit with a 27-27 wins this later.
Yeah, a lot of the time Evolve Shaman plays, or its win condition is similar-ish to Zoo, in the fact that if your opponent just clears your board time and time and time and time again, there's actually no way you win.
Could you explain to people who've been only playing since Journey to Ungoro came out what Zoo is?
Zoo is a deck from an old class that's been long forgotten now called Warlock, known as Gul'dan as well. That Hogg is actually pretty good. And basically, it's just all board focus. You put minions on the board and leverage those to win the game. And the way you beat it is actually just kill all the minions every single turn, and they can never actually do anything to you, and often not muster a big enough board later on to contend. And this is similar to what we're seeing now. This evolve had to happen for Meliador to battle for the board, and now it's all going to be on Turner's response, and if it's going to be enough. I love the Investigator card. It's so sick. Oh no, Daring Reporter, sorry. The male Night Elf is the Investigator. Not that females can't be Investigators either, it's just the way the card art works.
So Turner will be able to take down 3 minions, and as you said, because of all the synergy with minions within this deck, you do have to just remove them, and coupled with the fact that Jade just doesn't need to kill you now. And the longer the game goes, the easier it is to kill you, so why pressure yourself?
You will just get to the point where a Jade will just kill you, right? It'll just put you, there were 10, 10, 11, 11 Jades. If 2 survive, you lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, gonna see what happens here. Meliador getting the Arcane Explosion off the Shimmering Tempest.
I guess
it helps a little bit. He will get 1 additional taunt from the Hogger trade now into the 3/6.
the only thing for Meliador fans for this particular game of Hearthstone is that Turner hasn't got Earthen Scales yet.
Yeah.
He will, because there's Auctioneer and a whole bunch of Nourish, but that's it. That's where you get your dreams from in this matchup.
Taunt's a big deal.
So is this Impmaster.
This Hogger's getting work done. So if you want a quick way to count the damage of double Bloodlust, don't.
No, you
count it and it's lethal on a full board.
Sure, yeah, you just multiply by 6.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. You multiply the number of minions by 6, and the answer is it's a lot. And actually, I was saying the only hope, but the Impmaster has allowed this board to go wide, the Eye has allowed this board to go wide, and this is the hope, and it's actually looking really good.
Hogger's really key as well. Just putting the 2/2 in the way of the Jade, then the Jade can't even trade away a high attack minion.
Yeah, he's been enabled to get 3 minions extra per turn from how that panned out. And
yeah, that's just game. There's nothing he can do.
Nothing to do with the Earthen Scales, just...
That Feral Rage doesn't get him there, Earthen Scales doesn't get him there.
Nowhere near.
He would have needed a second Innovate into Jade Behemoth, and I still think he doesn't get there because the Imp kills the Jade Behemoth. Never mind everything else, like the Imp can solo it because it's +6 on every minion.
Did you see, by the way, that somebody drew you that card art?
They've not, right?
You wanted a Paladin into a Murloc killing a Sea Giant?
Yeah.
I think Castle Brick did it.
No, he didn't. He did a picture of me looking in the mirror, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Okay.
I think so.
Well, he'll do that now I've said that, I'm sure.
Okay, I hope so.
But yeah, doing the same thing, the Imp will kill.
Yeah, the Imp kills the Jade Behemoth on its own. Double Bloodlust, though, means Turner is going to go 0-2 down in this series. Meliador, in this Italian derby, is actually going to take, or continue to take the lead and only be 1 game away from taking this series. And that was looking very grim, but that evolve was insane. insane. If you evolve into minions that generate more minions, that is exactly what you want as a token-based deck.
And then play Aya?
And yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. And then the board just got so wide, there was no second Drake available for Turna, and Meliador drawing double Bloodlust. Like I said, the one Bloodlust, you can start thinking, okay, how much damage is this? What do I need to kill? What? Two Bloodlust on a full board, you just lose. That's it.
I mean, the other way, if you only got one card in hand, what Turner does is plays the Auctioneer and fishes around to find one Earthen because that's okay, but he needed a lot more. And I think he got wind of what was going on. I think he knew he was a very strong chance that was double Bloodlust. He played as if it was double Bloodlust, and now he's down to...
It's Paladin.
His Paladin.
So it's got the Murloc opening, but it's a little bit slower, doesn't have chumps. As Ardent Squire, though.
Yeah, it's very similar to UK Paladin.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry. I was looking at Meliador's Paladin earlier. Turner's Paladin is the aggro one, I apologize.
It is literally, I think it is UK Paladin card for card, in fact. UK Paladin being the deck that Jumbo took to #1 Legend, of course. And the synergies are a bit weird within the deck. Sometimes you don't get cards that match up. But here we've got Rockpool Hunter with a 1-drop Murloc. And we've got Rallying Blade with Argent Squire. Yeah. On this occasion, it looks like the synergies are working out just fine, thank you.
Yeah, now the options for double 1-drop this turn from Turner are pretty decent.
It's very decent because it sets up a very good chance that next turn, one or the other of his cards gets a very powerful turn.
Also as well, I do love the Dread Corsairs in this deck. They're actually kind of cool.
I mean, Jumbo is very good at innovating weird stuff, and so are many people, but he's the one who's willing to put it to 200 games and see if it's worth it or not. And he just came up with this, and yeah, the Corsairs just allow you to go wide so quickly.
And the problem here is as well, is that Devolve can just wreck this list.
Right.
The buffs, the synergies, the aggro, all the 1-drops and 2-drops, Devolve, lol. You know, like...
You're so smug that Devolves turn out to be amazing, aren't you? You and Stuff had your little thing.
I knew it. I called this months ago. Devolve, good card.
Live on many, many streams you did it as well.
Exactly.
It's so depressing for the rest of us.
There's plenty of proof. I'm all-knowing and all-powerful. It's just no one believes me. But yeah, Devolve is absolutely insane. You remove the synergies, remove the just the power that can be on the board. Again, you know, this deck runs Blessing of Kings. It runs the Spite Ridge Steed. So you just Devolve. Forget about it. Who cares? These buffs do no longer exist. What the deck doesn't run is Tyrion. The late game is Curator and Sunkeeper Tarim and Spite Ridge Steed. That's as far as this deck goes. And I think if Meliador can just get the board the once, it's going to be in a great position. There are no consecrates.
The idea is you don't need so much of a comeback mechanism if you're always in front. And also the idea, the short version of why there's no Tyrion is you've already got enough weapons. That's the short version.
Exactly. And no consecrates in the deck, though, is huge against this shaman list.
Yeah, and this is why this wasn't queued up at all. Lost his counters. I've said this like every round, I feel. There's been a lot of 2-0s happen, but you lose your counter, you are in trouble.
Still, though, Meliador's got to fight back a little bit. This Mana Tide is going to be nice, though, if he wants to play it this turn, depending on what he draws. Okay, he's going to probably roll the totem first.
This is obviously, at this level, this is where knowing the matchups is so important. This Devolve could have been used quite easily a few times, but no need at all. Just hold on to it until something big like, I don't know, Spite Ridge Steed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You definitely just want to hold on to it for the big, impactful turn. If you don't, then and you throw it away, then it's just gonna, yeah, it might gain you a little bit, but when you wait for the buffs, the big synergy moments, you just break the back of the Paladin as opposed to annoy them for a turn.
You've been playing with a new Hunter power, right? Like working out which two beasts to stitch together.
Yeah.
Devolve is like the opposite of that. You've got a dinosaur on a Murloc, and you just turn it into a sheep.
Sounds great to me.
You just send it all backwards.
Depends which Murloc. Oh no, Tiny Fin's not in the game.
Ah.
It's a shame. Tiny Fin would have been sick. Okay, well here's the on-time Megasaur to help out with these Murlocs. And again, depending on what buffs these get, if these get the plants, then suddenly Devolve is probably worthwhile, you know, worth thinking about a lot of the time. Just because of the removal of those tokens. This is an aggro deck. It doesn't have refill. It doesn't have the late game. So just stop the aggression now and call it a day. Maybe even Bloodlust is used as we see Turner just deliberate over these options. Maybe this is a potential Bloodlust turn. unless the trades happen, Turna is going to actually take out the Mana Tide.
Yeah, Meliador does have that doppelgangster in hand, so he's in no hurry. He's just happy to chill until he draws Evolve, and then that will turn the game around anyway. There will be a point, he knows there's no consecrates, the deck list are open. At some point, he may just go, you know what, I'm just going to play three 2/2s on the board because you've got a deck that goes wide with little things.
Yeah, why not? I think we might actually just be looking for, this is tough. If you devolve, you remove the health from the minions.
Right.
Which is important because you can't really take the health. There's no Flame Tongue available, and the Bloodlust doesn't quite get there.
Right.
And rolling for spell damage doesn't really get there either for the Maelstrom. Maybe you have to devolve at this point. This is tough. Otherwise, what are you just dropping Doppelgangster? I don't think so. I think that feels too slow when you know all of them die.
Just looking at it is a little bit slow. Yeah, they just get traded into, they die, and that's the end of that. But you know that you don't want to devolve because whatever you devolve into, the steed's going to go on. But really, what other option have you got?
I think you have to do this, or the Murlocs get too much value. Wow. Fine shield, nice.
And this is a skill in Hearthstone, is knowing when your plan is to
clear the board.
to devolve.
Nuts, that's nuts. No Spike Ridge for you, Turna. Clears the board, and now Meliador is on point for the rest of the game. Aya, followed up by, suddenly after Aya, Doppelgangster just on the board seems good, right? Because you've already got the board, which is what's most important there. Hydrologist coming out from Turna can play the secret this turn along with a hero power. But it just dies.
However, he does have the meme response Turner in his hand, the one card you always look for when this deck gets behind. He needs to draw Curator. Well, at least he's got that going. He is going to get a mini refill. What's he going to get?
Yeah, there's going to be, well, a Murloc of the varieties we've seen, because he's only played one of each. There is no dragon, and one Megasaur is available. He might draw Finger. And Finger, again, is a card that can just drag him back into this game. But look at this now, just Aya. It's just a problem. I wouldn't mind just double trade from Meliador here.
He's going to dragon back into there. There are no dragons. Anyway, yep, Finger is another thing that, this is where the Shaman is just taking control. And he's still got the Bloodlust and the Doppelgangster, two cards we thought he might have to use very defensively.
That's what I mean. Now the Curator just dies, and then he can just Doppelgangster onto the board, and then say, okay, he can Doppelgangster, play the Primal Fin, and then just Lust.
Oh, and now he's got the luxury of the second Devolve as well.
It's nice.
He can just set himself up over time. Aya's all about fun. Stomping people with golems.
Yeah. Jades are a girl's best friend.
Yeah.
Is that why you like Jades so much?
Yeah.
Jades and Hello Kitty.
I always think that the Jade Train just sounds like a really bad pop band.
The Jade Train, or a really great cheesy club.
A really great cheesy club.
Yeah. I would go and dance to the Jade Train.
You drink so much and then you end up coming out green at the end of the night.
That sounds good to me, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds like one of your nights out. And
Sounds great. I do just like Doppelgangster here, though. You just play it. There are no consecrates in the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
There is zero punishment for playing Doppelgangster. Yes, you don't have the Evolve, but you don't need the Evolve. There is what? There's 3, 6, 9 plus 6 is 15 plus whatever else is on the board from Bloodlust next turn. Yes, it's not lethal, but it's a lot of power to mess around with. You've just seen Curator, so you know there's refill and reload, but nothing you can't deal with. But Meliador didn't go for it. I don't know.
He did heftily consider it and decided to give it one more turn, I think. He held it, he looked at it, he nurtured it, but he went, you know what? My baby doppelgangsters, I shall unleash you on the world a little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know. Would playing the doppelgangsters mean he doesn't even have to worry about later? Is my question.
Yeah, it would be definitely a lot of damage or a lot of clear, whichever way with that Bloodlust.
True Silver, Corsair, Murloc, Hero Power Secret is insane.
This is why this UK Paladin deck is a bit deceptive. You know, reloaded with that Curator, it got dealt with, but now what happens, you've only dealt with half, you've only dealt with the thing that was on the board. Now you've got to deal with the refill it's given him.
Not in the totem.
I feel like you should kill the Primal Fin there just to stop this recurring 1-1 stuff. You haven't got a way of dealing with the 1-1s. You might as well stop them happening.
I wonder if he's ever bothered about Evolve. Like a 3 to a 4 instead of a 2 to a 3 he's removed. I don't know.
I mean, it does protect his Corsair, which can then kill the 0-3 next turn. So, in that way.
Oh.
His Corsair is also very important to him. because he wants to defend these piddly Murlocs.
You just go with the doppelgangster here.
And what else can you even do?
I'm surprised Meliador is waiting this long. Probably considering hero power first, hero power last.
He's 2-0 up in the quarterfinals of DreamHack, and he wants to become a streamer and be famous and stuff. He's entitled to take a few seconds to see what happens. He doesn't need to play quickly in case there's charges.
Not allowed.
He's not allowed.
Here we go. Let's see what Doppelgangster gives him. He's been pretty decent so far. See if he can keep the run going.
An auctioneer, oh my goodness.
That's two for two in auctioneers and evolves
But
so
look
far.
on the left-hand side, those little things. They've all done amazing jobs here.
Yeah, that totem turned into a succubus. The 2/2 with the pint size, and then the igneous elemental.
Which is
all
like
great.
perfect. You can almost run it in the deck.
The 3/3 is a dramatic low roll, but the auctioneer and the blossoms actually make up for it, in my opinion, based on this board state.
Yeah, it's interesting. Your eyes go to the right-hand side, and it's like fairly mediocre. And then you just look at what he got. There's a succubus. It's just insane. A lot of damage available for the Bloodlust now.
And the Devolve is going to wreck the Spike Ridge, which is just coming down this turn.
No quarter.
He can't even make a trade with the weapon into the taunt. So the Megastar is going to be on 1.
I see 30 damage. I see lots of things, but I see 30 damage.
It's 30 as long as the Devolve doesn't get a taunt.
Right.
But let's be honest, can it soak 1? No.
I mean, even if the Devolve gets a taunt, yes, sure. That's a bit less than 30 because that's another 3 total removed, plus 2 gained health.
Well, let's see. I think this turn's going to be pretty straightforward for Meliador. Devolve into Lust, go. If the Devolve isn't a taunt, this is just game. If it is a taunt, it'll last a little bit longer.
From his side, he does have to just be a bit careful. The secret could be absolutely anything. Yeah. Realizes it just doesn't care.
Game's going to go a little bit longer anyway. It's 23, and it is a taunt.
It's a taunt.
And he gets it back. He gets it back.
Retaunt.
And then Spike Ridge next turn.
And the Devolve's gone.
Huh. Huh.
Getting close, but this Firefly is going to allow Meliador to go very wide indeed with Bloodlust still in hand.
Might be able to just get through it. So at the moment as well, you know your opponent's not got amazing cards in hand. The Curator's gone, 1 Spike Ridge is gone. The deck doesn't go much later than this. You're past the point of caring about Finger because you have a board. So what realistically is the potential for Turna to get back into this game? And we can see that it's Spike Ridge Steed. But with Bloodlust, again, on a 7 minion board, should I say, then that is just a lot of damage, even to hit through Spike Ridge.
And again, just to re-emphasize, he knows there is no Tyrion. You said there's no late game. There is no Tyrion. Nothing above 7 in the deck.
He's probably okay with the Sunkeeper Tarim at this point.
Are we going to see double Bloodlust? Like, he just chills, he gets a second Bloodlust, and we see double Bloodlust twice in one series.
He's already won 1 game with it. Why not number 2? He's actually just working out. If he actually plays the Hot Spring, then he stops on the Rock Pool. The Rock Pool has to stay in hand. Or he could play the 2 Murlocs and the Spike Ridge and Hero Power.
Sure.
But I do think you want the multi-taunts. I think Hot Spring and then the Murloc, the Tie Collar plus the Spike Ridge Steed.
How hot are these springs? Do the Murlocs light them or does it like melt them?
Well, I think Hot Springs are pretty good. People normally go to Hot Springs to relax,
nice,
right?
Yeah. But do you go there to like live?
I wouldn't want to live in a hot spring.
Yeah, even if you're a Murloc?
You fall asleep and drown.
Murlocs don't drown, they're fish.
Murlocs aren't fish. It's like calling a frog a fish.
Bloodlust,
that works.
by the way.
But this is the Lust. Jade Lightning is going to help a huge amount here. I believe it's going to help enough to get this game done and dusted. Looks like Meliador is going to be able to take this series 3-0 with Shaman. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Shaman's pretty good. He can sweep.
Yep, and getting it done.
It's going to be 1 off this turn.
I thought he had spell damage. My bad.
Nope. Can be 1 off this turn.
But yeah, but whatever.
But again, Turner's got nothing. That's the...
No Drake,
we're
no
talking a lot about the
consecration.
game ended 2 turns ago. Obviously, it technically didn't, but there is nothing that Turna even has. It's going to go straight for the concede, and that is going to be the series. Look at Meliador. The fist pumps, Lothar. Just the happiness. And you saw in the little clip we saw earlier how much it means to him. He's took the time out to do this, and it's working.
Well, he's a new guy here in the scene, right? I mean, in the streamer side scene, let's say it like that. It's very important for him to win that quarterfinal.